everybody. Thank you for coming to our webinar today. I know that in some countries it's already the evening, but you're still here with us. It means that you really value our presence right now, and Snow College as well. So thank you so much for coming. And today we're going to talk about our very special partner. They are Snow College, and they are in Utah, USA. Our speakers are Ms. Becky and Mr. Nate, and they're going to talk to you about how it's going to be like when your students are sent here.
Thank you so much, Jones. I'm going to share my screen. My name is Becky Adams. I'm actually the director of the Center for Global Engagement at Snow College. And then with me is my colleague, Nate. I'm going to let him introduce himself in just a moment, but I'm going to give you a little background on me. So I am originally from Utah. I grew up here. I actually attended Snow College a number of years ago and graduated and didn't realize that I was going to end up back here working again, and at the time didn't realize I was going to be working with international students and have such a global connection. So I started working with Snow College 16 years ago. During that time, I initially started in the admissions office, so I understand the whole admissions process for our students. And then I stepped into being the international advisor. And so I have worked with students in terms of work authorization and all of the fun things that there is to offer students that study in the United States. And then recently I've stepped in the position as director. So we are very excited to share the message of Snow College across the world. We are very passionate about the unique space that we fill for students looking to study in the United States. And you can see on this slide, there is no place that we would rather be. And we hear that so often from so many of our students. I'm going to let Nate take just a minute, introduce himself and a little background, and then I'm going to take it away with the PowerPoint.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Nate Thomas. I actually just graduated from Snow College this last semester. I got my bachelor's of music from Snow, and it really was an amazing experience. I really loved it. I'm actually from this town that Snow College is in, Ephraim. I grew up here, and I love the area. It's so beautiful. It is a smaller town. It's not like a big city, and I really like how everybody kind of gets to know each other, and we kind of form stronger bonds. And then with my degree in music, I was hoping to kind of play more saxophone stuff because that's my main thing. I love playing musical instruments, but I lived in Argentina for 2 years, and I kind of gained a love for international students. During my time at Snow, I would always befriend them. I would have them come to my apartment, and they really changed my life. So as soon as I graduated, I saw this job and I was like, well, I want to make a difference. Before I start doing music stuff full time, I want to help these students kind of have a similar experience to what I had at Snow. So that's kind of a little bit about me.
Yeah, and we are excited. Nate just joined our team in July, and he's already finding amazing things. He's been on his first trip, and we're looking forward to a wonderful recruiting season. And Nate is going to be the person that you're going to connect the most with as an agent. And so he will help once we set up individual agreements with you, if you are interested, you'll actually reach out to Nate and he'll help establish that and go through some of this process. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do this overall training and introduce you to our campus. So let's take it away. This first picture that you see, that is our administration building. And sometimes it seems like that may be any institution in the United States, but what I love about us, our campus, is it's very close, it's very comfortable, everything is easy to access. So, fun facts about us. Snow College was actually founded in 1889. And it was founded as a religious institution. It started out as a high school called Snow Academy. And then through the perseverance or the energy of the local community, it grew and eventually was taken over by the state of Utah. And in honor of those who helped give the initial funding to set up the high school and the institution, it was named after Lorenzo Snow, and then a distant relative of his that had come across from the East Coast and helped settle Utah, Erastus Snow. So students will often say, oh, it's Snow College because you're in Utah. While we do have the greatest snow on earth and the best skiing, and we see snow, that's not where our name came from. It actually came from two people in the same family, Lorenzo and Erastus Snow. And we are one of the top 10 two-year colleges in the entire United States. We have had our program individually with international students running. This is our 45th year welcoming international students. So since 1978, we have had international students on our campus from all over the world. One thing that we love about our area and our school is that we have small class sizes. So when students go to larger institutions, you might be in some basic core classes with 300 or 400 of your closest friends. At Snow College, our average class sizes range anywhere between 20 and 30 students, which really gives individual attention. We are also very affordable, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's a big benefit for students, and it gives a great value because you can continue, these students can choose to study for 2 years, often at the cost of what it might be for 1 year at a larger university. We also offer international student scholarships, and Nate will talk about that as he gets talking about tuition and events like that. And we are one of the safest colleges in Utah. So I know that for parents and family, that's a big selling point. You can see down here, so we are located in Utah. Some people may ask where that is. We did host the 2002 Winter Olympics. And so that was kind of our initial claim to fame. And then you see at the bottom of this slide, we are actually the headquarters of some top tech companies like Adobe, eBay, Novell, EA Sports. And so this provides a great opportunity for our students if they decide to return or go on to the workforce. So that's one area that you can help emphasize as you're meeting with parents and families. We also have the Mighty Five, which is our top national parks. We are close to everything. I like to tell people you drive 2 hours north and you can hit the ski slopes during the winter and go skiing, and you drive 2 hours south and you've got the red rocks of Zion's National Park or Arches National Park, which is our famous signature. You've got that arch that many people see in Moab. That is a quick 2-hour drive from where we are located. So we really kind of have the best of everything at our institution. And something I wanted to talk about also is, at Snow College, we are just barely, these rankings, this is 2023 US News and World Report. Utah is ranked #1 in 5 really amazing categories. First, the best state overall. And this is not a ranking that we went out and advertised for, but it is something that, sorry, I just want to pull this off. Anyway, but it's something that we just realized and we are so proud of. Utah is such a unique place because it gives students the access to come to an environment and learn with hands-on experiences and then start that journey and then expand out anywhere in the United States as they continue their degree. We also are ranked #1 in employment opportunities, our economy, our job growth, and our fiscal stability. So we are very aware of the current economic situation in so many areas. And our government in the state of Utah worked really hard to try and keep things as affordable as possible. And especially right now, post-pandemic, that's been something that has really benefited our students because we've been able to help them reach that degree that they are going for. One other thing that I wanted to talk about before I turn the screen over to Nate is I'm not sure how many agents, well, you probably actually understand the US educational system, but if you do know that, it differs from many other countries in that in the United States, students don't need to pick their one major and they're stuck in that track for the entirety of their degree. So students in the US, we encourage students to take this time to explore different opportunities. So there are going to be half of their credits, or about 30 credits, that will be, translates into between 10 to 15 classes that are going to be what we call general education. These are compulsory or required classes. Even if you're going to be a software engineer student, you also have to take a fine arts class. And that is true across the entire United States. So we focus on those GE classes to make sure that students can complete those at the most affordable rate and then move forward to their major focus. But out of the 60 credits for an associate degree, 30 of those are the GE courses, and the other 30 are going to be courses that are could be specific to their major. We call them electives. And so students may choose to really focus on, if their major is going to be business, they're going to be focusing on those business classes for their electives. And you're going to have the two that are tied together. So one semester they might take an English composition class and, let's say, a math class, while at the same time they're taking strategic selling and intro to microeconomics, right? And so our students can kind of also, in that element, be able to take some fun classes. I always tell students there's more to education in the United States than just what happens in the classroom. And so we really encourage our students to explore things that maybe they haven't thought. And maybe they even get in and say, hey, business is not for me. Maybe I decide I want to do software engineering. I'm really good at that. Or, I've took a class and it's really appealing. In the United States and at Snow College, there's a lot of flexibility that allows a student, and you don't lose time. Because we've got those GE classes, you are still hitting those major focus or the required classes, even while you're exploring with your electives. And so Snow College does a really great job at offering a wide range of courses for students, anywhere from history of rock and roll to beginning dance to, like I said, strategic selling. So that is a really important thing to point out to your students is you're going to be taking, as you work with these families, you're going to be taking those core classes that are needed, even if you transfer to the University of Las Vegas. You have to have core classes. And by taking them in a class size of 30 students, you're going to avoid having to take them in a class size of 300 students at a larger institution. So now I'm going to go quiet. I'm going to let Nate run through. He's going to talk about our programs and what our campus looks like and our housing opportunities and things like that.
Yeah. So since I did just graduate from Snow, I have very fresh eyes. I kind of understand some of the programs that we have, especially the music program. Like that's my baby. I love talking about it. Since we are a community college, like Becky said, we focus on the 2-year degrees. So they study for 2 years and get their associates while studying their desired field. Like if they want to study business or study psychology, they study for 2 years and they get their associate's degree. And then at the end of the 2 years, they take that degree somewhere else. But we do have 2 bachelor's degrees, and one of them is our commercial music degree and also our software engineering degree. If students are interested in those, they can stay here for the full 4 years. And it's honestly one of the most affordable options to do a bachelor's degree. Since our tuition is already extremely low, they can come here and do 4 years for the price of 2 years at another institution. But our main focus, like Becky said, is the 2-year degrees where they can get their generals done, get their prerequisites done, so then they can go off to the other schools. Okay, and then we've been talking a lot about this, like 2 years at Snow, 2 years somewhere else. And this is kind of something very unique to the United States. President Obama actually once said that community colleges are the best kept secret of the US. And that's because a lot of local students will go to a community college for 2 years. They'll kind of just drive from their parents' house to the community college and then take their classes and then go back home. And then they take those 2 years and then they go off to a different university. And kind of like we've been saying, this is a much more affordable option for students. They're saving $20,000 to $30,000 a year, which is a lot of money when you're trying to get a degree. And it's not to say that this is less of a degree, right? They're still getting the same generals done. They're doing the same classes as if they were to go off to a different university. And we're actually ranked #1 in student success. So a lot of our students will graduate from Snow and then immediately go off to a 4-year university where they will continue their degree and they'll graduate. And then one of my favorite things about it was kind of how Becky was saying, the small class sizes. The average class size is like 16 to 20 students, and this really gives you more one-on-one time with the teacher. In my classes, I would sometimes have questions I wouldn't really know. I didn't really understand the content, so I was able to go up after class and ask the teacher those questions. We've all seen those pictures or those videos of the big universities where they have the lecture halls with hundreds of students, and the teacher never really gets one-on-one time with the students. And they can't really go up and ask questions and get more hands-on work. But the nice thing about snow is that it's very personalized. The teachers are always trying to help their students, and they're very loving. I loved my time in snow because the teachers cared about me. They would email me asking me how I'm doing, making sure that I'm staying on top of things. If I had a rough week, I would have my classmates actually emailing me saying, "Hey, we didn't see you in class this week. We hope you see you next time." And that's just not something you really get at a big university. So snow really helps you feel connected to everybody, to the students, to the faculty, and to kind of just the whole community. Okay, and then these are some of the transfer universities that our students have gone to. And this isn't like a limit of where they have to go. They can honestly take their associate's degree after they graduate and go anywhere in the US. Because since we're an accredited institution, they can take that associate where they've gotten their generals done and go to any school and they can finish out their degree. We can guarantee that our degree will be accepted 100%, of course, at the other schools in Utah, right? Like Utah State University, University of Utah, Southern Utah, and then as well as schools outside of Utah. So there's really limitless options when it comes to transferring. We like helping our students find the best place for them, where their best program is going to be. Like if they are studying business, we want to help them find the best business schools in the US. Or if they're studying nursing, we want to get them into a good medical program. So we really do help them find the best options for their specific career path. Okay, and then let's talk about tuition and cost. Snow College is extremely affordable. Our tuition total is $14,000 plus our living expenses and insurance. The total for the entire year, not just one semester, but the whole year, is $19,500. And then this, when we add, yeah, thank you, our scholarships, which is a $5,000 renewable scholarship, it really brings the price down for that, right? And they can get this for their second year. When we are giving this out, we're looking at like their academic excellence or like their grades, if they volunteered and did extracurricular activities while they were in high school, and if they have any leadership opportunity or experience. These things aren't required. We do want them to apply no matter what, and it is a guaranteed $5,000 scholarship. So let's add our 5,000 to our tuition. Oh, do we not have that slide? Okay, well, that's all right. Usually we have a slide that kind of adds that, but I'll just talk about it. So our 5,000 brings our entire tuition and cost down from 19,500 to 14,500 for the whole year, which is honestly crazy. Because if you think about other bigger universities, you're paying 30,000 for the whole year, if not more. And at Snow, if you get our $5,000 scholarship, it brings it down to 14,500. And they can also get other like department scholarships, and that also bring that cost down even more. So there is a lot of opportunity for them to get financial aid. Okay, now we can talk about athletics. I don't know what happened to the other slide. So Snow is part of the NJCAA, and it's honestly one of the best schools for that in the US. Some of the teams we have a soccer team, we have soccer teams, basketball teams, American football, volleyball, esports, and rodeo. Esports is kind of like video games. And for me, this was kind of fun because I would be studying music all day, right? Like I would be practicing, I would be taking all these theory classes. But then like once a week, I could look forward to just going and playing video games once a week. And honestly, you could say this about any of the sports, right? Some of them are a little more intense than esports, right? They're obviously exercising a lot more. But like for example, for the American football and the basketball teams, almost everyone in the community supports and loves going to the basketball and football games. The turnouts are always amazing, and the energy is just so high, just to support our students. So those are definitely kind of highlights for everybody's week, is going to the football games or the basketball games. There's also athletic scholarships available. Like if there's a student who just is amazing at basketball or is amazing at football, there are ways for them to get scholarships. And if you guys have questions about specific students, you can always email me and I can get you in touch with the coaches and kind of get all that figured out. Okay, so one really big unique thing about Snow College is that we have housing options. Kind of like I was saying before, community colleges usually are for local kids, right? They kind of live at home and then drive to school. Snow is different because we have on-campus housing options so that our international students or even our domestic students can come to Snow and live in our housing. We do have a few different options. We have on-campus and off-campus. Off-campus doesn't mean it's farther away. It just means it's not directly ran by the school. Like some of the off-campus housing is right across the street from the school. So distance is not a problem here. So the different options is for both of them, we have shared rooms and private rooms. A shared room is when you have one room and you and one other person are in this room of the same gender. And then once you leave your little room that has your beds and all your desks and stuff, there's a bigger room that you share with other students. There's a kitchen in some of them, and then like a little living area with couches and like a TV and things. The private room is where you get your own room to yourself that you can go and study. You have your desk, and then you go out of your room, and there's still like the shared kitchen, in that living space. In some of the housing options, there isn't a full kitchen. Like for example, for the full kitchens, there's like a fridge, a microwave, a stove, and all of the things there that they can use to cook. In some of the housing options, they just have like a fridge and a microwave. If students don't really want to cook all of their food, they get a meal plan when they do this option so that they can go to the cafeteria and get food there. And then they can obviously bring food back and put it in their fridge and warm it up in the microwave. And then the price kind of varies a little bit, but yeah, we can see here the different ranges of prices.
Well, and I was gonna jump screens too fast, but something that is often surprising is when you go to a larger city, you're going to be paying this cost. So let's say for a shared room, $925, you might be paying $925 a month. Something to point out is this is a full semester's worth of housing. So that's all 4 months of the semester. Even in a private room might only run you $1,300. So when you divide up a private room at $1,300 over 4 months, you're paying $300 a month in housing. And that is, again, one of the things that makes Snow College so affordable is often students may go to a larger city. And when they go to a larger city, you may pay $1,300 to $1,500 a month just for a 1-bedroom loft apartment. So this allows you to have access to the full dormitories. And as Nate mentioned, we do have a cafeteria on campus as well as a bistro. So students get to choose whether they want to cook or whether they want to just make sure that they have food ready and can focus on their studies.
Sweet. And we can go to the next slide. Okay. So one of the biggest questions we get, I guess when we're getting new students is, can I get a job, right? And students definitely can work on campus, and we have a whole career center, a whole building, so that students can then get a job or get ready for their career in the future, right? In this career center, they learn how to write resumes. There's a lot of students, even domestic students, when they get here, they don't know really how to make a resume, like how to put themselves out there, kind of explain the experience they have and why they would be good for a certain position. There's also interview practice so that they can kind of sit down with somebody and like the interview person kind of asks them questions that could happen in an interview, and they get lots of practice with that, so that when they do the real interview, they're ready for it. They're ready for the weird questions, the hard questions, so that they have a better chance of getting the job. Because that, honestly, the resume and the interview are the biggest parts of trying to get a job, right? The Career Center also helps them find internships. This could be after they do their 2 years, because since students have to work on campus during their time at Snow, they can't really work off campus, right? But as soon as they're getting ready to graduate, we have people that'll help them find internships, so they have somewhere to go straight from their degree to the workplace, right? So that they can get that experience. We also help them do a personal strength assessment, which kind of just shows them what they're good at, right? Like, people will come in, they don't really know what they want to do. They know they're doing their generals, they know that they want to go to school, which is a great step. But we help them find what they're good at, like what their strengths are and what career field they could go into that would kind of play off of those strengths. And then we also connect them to employment fairs so that they can see their options, right? For example, we have a student from the Bahamas here. He came and he wanted to study, he wanted to be a diesel mechanic. And he was telling me that kind of after learning about his options, he switched over to ag business. And kind of like we said before, there's a lot of different options students have. They can switch midway through their degree to something else. If they don't like music, they can switch over to business. If they don't like software engineering, they can switch over to botany. Like, there's so many different things that they can do. And these employment fairs, the Career Center kind of helps them figure out where they would enjoy it the most. Okay, and then some of the activities we have on campus, there's honestly always something going on. I like to say that if you're bored at Snow College, it's your own fault, because they're doing an activity almost every single day. Like last night, for example, they did a Hispanic heritage celebration where they had dancers, they had music, they had food, and just so much stuff to get the students engaged on campus, right? So there's always something happening. Like, we have plays that they can go see. They can go to concerts. Sometimes they're bringing in artists to come play for the music program, or the actual music students themselves are putting on concerts, which is an awesome opportunity for students to kind of see different kinds of music. I mean, that's what I did. I played music for 4 years, and I loved it when my peers would come see me. We also take them to like a chalk festival, and so that they can kind of get the experience of different cultures. We do culture night where we talk about different countries and kind of just showcase where all of our students are from. So there's a lot of energy on campus. For being a small school, there's a really big energy from the students, because they get to know each other, they get to participate in all these activities, and it really helps them to connect with one another. And then, since Utah is such a beautiful, amazing place, and it's very unique, kind of like Becky was saying, you can drive 2 hours in any direction and you have something very unique and beautiful. We like to take our international students to see these places. For example, these top two pictures on the left and right are in southern Utah, where they can see the arches, they can see Zion's National Park. The one on the right is Delicate Arch, which is kind of Utah's icon, right? Like, when people see that, they think the red rocks of Utah. And it honestly is a gorgeous place. I was able to go there this last year, and it just blew my mind. It's such a beautiful place, and we want to take our international students there so they can experience Utah. They don't have to stay on campus for the whole year. We want them to see things and to experience Utah. And then there's also the greatest snow on earth, right? In Ephraim, our city, it does snow from like October to sometimes April, and we've gotten up to 2 feet, even 3 feet of snow in some years. So they definitely will get to see the snow. And some students like it, some students don't like it. It just kind of depends. But it's kind of awesome for people to experience that, right? And we can also take them skiing and snowboarding so that they can try that if they want to. And some of our international students have loved that. Like some of our students from Central America that have never seen the snow, they just want to hit the ski slopes and just try it. So they go back home and they say, yeah, I tried skiing when I was in Utah, and their friends have no idea what that's like. So we try to give them as many memorable experiences as possible while they're here at Snow.
Yeah, and I just wanted to jump in. I know coming from tropical environments, sometimes that can seem a little intimidating when we talk about the amount of snow we get in the winter. Don't worry, it melts. Sidewalks are kept clean. We have a whole team. You can see from that bottom picture, we have a whole team that keeps the sidewalks clear when the snowstorm happens. We've never lost anyone to the cold, and it's not nonstop. Something to keep in mind, and I think that picture at the bottom captures it, is we will have beautiful blue skies and sunshine as well as the snow. And one of the things that we also pride ourselves on is we partnered with a local company and we provide activities specifically for international students. So that skiing picture, actually the students didn't have to pay. Well, I was trying to think. I actually think the students didn't have to pay anything for that. They needed to provide their own winter clothes, but there is an activity fee, and with that money, we have this company that will take students hiking, or they will take students skiing. And so for the cost of paying that fee for the semester, they get the opportunity to travel to Arches and go hike to Delicate Arch, or they may get the opportunity to go skiing, and that would pay for their equipment and ski lessons. We also don't just throw students on the slopes and hope they don't die. Whenever we go to the ski resorts, we will get them lessons so that they can spend the first hour or two taking lessons and figuring it out. And by the end of the day, you've got students that are, coming off what we call the bunny hill, which is the only place I ever go because I don't have a great amount of balance, but I go on the bunny hill and go down. But we've got students who are full on riding down the slopes and trying out snowboarding and skiing for the first time. And Nate talked about like these students from Latin and South America, they just have discovered this passion for something they would never have got to experience at home. So part of the experience, as I talked about and Nate has emphasized, is it's more than just in the classroom. It is the entire experience, and they pay an activity fee specifically so that we can give them that opportunity to get out and enjoy the beauty that's around us.
Cool. And a little bit about our application and admissions process. We are an open admission school, which means that if the students apply, they will be accepted. There is not an English proficiency score required to come to Snow. If students don't really know English, they don't have to send us their Duolingo score, their TOEFL score. If they do know English, though, then we do need these if we want to put them into the regular classes. We do have, of course, our ESL course that we can put them in if they don't really know the language, and it kind of gives them like a crash course of English, right? They learn how to speak, how to hold a conversation, and how to present and stuff. So they kind of get all of that practice in their first, I think it's 8 weeks that they're here. And then they can start their normal academic classes once they have completed their ESL. And then some of the other documents that we need when they're applying, we need their high school diploma or transcripts, just proving that they graduated high school, a current bank statement showing 19,500 or the 14,500 if they get the scholarship, and then a copy of a current passport. And then there's also a $100 application fee. We try to keep the whole process within 2 weeks. Like once we get all of the needed documents and the application, then we'll take it from there. We'll process it and we'll hopefully get them their admission letter and everything within 2 weeks. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. And then if you would like, you can take a picture of this QR code just kind of for reference to see what it's like. And then, or you could go to snow.edu/international to also find our application, as well as the scholarship information.
So some things that we didn't emphasize as strongly, but you may have, is our ESL program. So that is absolutely academic in nature. So if you have a student that doesn't have a TOEFL score, IELTS, or Duolingo, they can come and start in that academic English course. And you're going to be taking classes in, they'll be taking classes in listening and conversation, as well as reading and writing and American culture and values. And so it's a fully immersive 5 days a week intensive language program. And something to note is while they are in that ESL program, they are also Snow College students. So they are fully matriculated into our academic courses, and these are academic focused ESL courses. And then once they complete that, as Nate said, it is 8 weeks per level. We have 4 levels. Once they complete that, then they would immediately begin their major related classes. So across the board, they're getting that high level of academic courses taught by professors who have gone on and earned their PhDs, rather than, like, let's say, student assistants or teaching assistants or interns. These are professors who want to be in there. They're not focused on research, they're focused on teaching the students. Currently, we have about, I think our head count on our campus is enrollment count is 5,300. So we are a small community. Total population of the community is about 6,000, between 6 and 8,000. When we get students back on campus, the town doubles in size, and you can feel the energy that comes with that. Out of those students, we have almost 300. We're at 270 international students from over 50 different countries. Reach out to Nate Thomas, his email's there, send him a message, say, met you at the Net24, workshop. He will absolutely get that agreement to you.
Yep, thank you very much. You are going to see Snow College in our next event as well, so stay tuned. We will for sure inform you about which event it is, and you will have time to consider maybe going there as well in case you haven't registered. So thank you so much. You have answered in total 22 questions from 28 agencies. Any of them are staying with us right now, and we are very grateful to all of you. Thank you so much, agencies, for your interesting questions. And for sure, we will send you the recording of this webinar, as well as the contact of Mr. Nate. And later on, you will soon connect with him and establish new collaborations with Snow College.
Wonderful night, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much.